There is no such thing as self publishing. I know that sentence is going to make some people really furious, especially the ones that have self published. But I kind of like that because when authors tell me, oh, I want to self publish my book or, oh, I self published it, it feels dismissive, to be honest. And so I think what they actually mean is they just don't want to do it alone. And so they kind of say, like, oh, I self published that. I don't believe in self publishing. And I also don't believe that you should dismiss your book. So, right there is the mistake. You can't write your book alone. You can't edit a book alone. You can't design a book alone, even market it or even try to sell it. You need people. And if you try to do this alone, you have a very expensive hobby that really nobody wants to help you with. So, the word self to me is actually, to me, should be replaced with indie, independent, if we call it in the world, because independent from this traditional machine of publishing feels better, doesn't it? Not independent from like the world and like that you're independent, but like, come on, this is not just a single human activity. Although reading, let's be honest, reading is a single human activity. But when someone wants to help you with your book, that you need help, that's why I believe you should not self publish your book. Okay. There is no self publishing. So let's be clear, there is no self publishing. In my world, you need help. Here's what the data says about going it alone and publishing. The average self published book sells about 250 copies over its entire lifetime. Again, lifetime of the book. And, let's be clear about lifetime. Lifetime is ongoing. So your book sometimes stops selling. And there's a reason why it stops selling because you haven't worked on it yet or you haven't done anything with it. So the book that outperform the average than just the 250 copies, they weren't built by one person, okay? They were not something that you did alone. Every self published author who has built a following, landed speaking reels, gotten to do another book, had an impact on the community, used their book to grow the business, did have a team behind them, okay? And there's a couple of people that you need to thank when you quote self publish your book, okay? An editor, a designer, a launch strategist, a publicist, maybe, your entire reader community, even a marketing team. The difference between a book that sells and a book that disappears is not the writing. It's the team that helps you put the book together. So you can try to do it alone. You can try to, but you will spend twice as long, produce half the quality, and sell a fraction of what could have been your greatest book yet. And I want to go back to just a certain thing about this self-publishing, right? Because again, maybe you did do this alone and maybe it is all independent and all by yourself. But I still think it takes a village to do anything. And so definitely help yourself and work with a team that you trust because you will spend twice as long and it won't be as impactful doing it alone. I always make a joke with authors. When someone says they want to self publish, they actually mean they want to print it and give it to a couple of friends. And I have this differentiation between self-published and books that are independent. Self-published is if you have no plan on doing anything else with it and you want to print it and give it out to a few people. For example, a memoir about my cat. Okay. My cat, if he's really special, then maybe I do want to not self-publish. But if it's a memoir about a cat that didn't do anything much, just sat on the couch over there, then you know what? That's going to be something that I self-publish and I give to a couple of people. Majority of the time, I always deter authors to not self-publish because that's not what you want. You want to make an impact. You don't just want to talk about the cat sitting on the couch. And even if you did want to talk about the cat sitting on the couch, you probably want to sell it to other people and give it to people and make an impact. Reading is a singular job. So I want to make sure we know this. Reading is very singular and very selfish, but the rest of the reading and the publishing space is not. It is a group effort. It is a collective and people want to talk about it and they want to talk about your book. So don't do your book an injustice by letting it sit on the couch over there. The time you waste going on alone is not free. And I think that's the problem is that maybe sometimes the expense is why people think they want to self-publish because it's too expensive to do it otherwise. But I bet you that my team can save you money and you would be very surprised how much better it is working with people who have the knowledge and understanding and we can actually help you grow and make more money than just saving you money. So here is the expensive part about that truth. You really do waste a lot of time when you are trying to do it alone. And you waste a lot of money trying to do it alone. Every month your book is not out is a month that you are not getting speaking inquiries or building your business or creating credibility in your field. If you spend 6 months writing your book and then send it out to 12 people for free, well, you just invested 6 months of your life that truly dedicating, because I know how hard it is to write a book, that you really just either sold the book for cheap or gave it away. And that's not self publishing, that's self sabotage. A professional cover design, yes, can be expensive. And the developmental editor can be roughly $2,500 plus. But that investment will help you tremendously make it a better book and a stronger document to share with people in a bigger way. And it probably doubles or triples your sales. And that was not an expense. That was something that, again, is almost like a cog. But if that investment doubles and triples your sales, it really is an expense because then you can really see the benefit of that. It's the best marketing you ever bought. I had an author who wrote a beautiful story, but he almost was embarrassed to sell it. And this happens a lot. It's really hard for an author to embody the identity that I'm a published author. So that's why I think they say they're going to self publish. I have a whole theory on it. I'll talk about it later. So he was almost embarrassed to promote it. And so the book didn't sell because he didn't promote it. And let me tell you, he had a team of people around him, but he could have self published because he did not want to talk about the book at all. And it was almost because he was nervous and couldn't step out and talk about it because he felt like it was something too personal, but he didn't do it alone and it wasn't personal. It was very open to so many people who he could have impacted. And I know he is really working on the next book that will be an incredible, incredible bestseller. And he is actually learning to work with a team and be able to see the value of the importance of those people as well. So the discomfort with sharing, I think, was his ability to say that he wrote something that was like that he wanted people to read. And I think it was hard and all it did sabotage the entire project. And but yet he learned a lesson. So in a way, yes, it was self-sabotage, but it helped him see the beauty of what he was working on and how he can impact people for this next book. And years later, we did talk about it, but it was very difficult to address at the beginning. And in his way, the book was a therapeutic process for him, and he just wasn't ready to talk about it with other people. And it was almost like he was consumed with what the impact it could make, that he couldn't even make the impact. So he gets a second chance, and he's going to make this book a huge success. And I'm so happy that he learned from that. So part of this exercise of, understanding what independent publishing is that you are able to see that it is a bigger opportunity than just you. And you're able to play with a team of people who are experts and that can help you. So, in a way, my author, the book didn't fail him. He just built a system that really crushed him because he didn't know what to do with it. And again, it's fixable. It really totally can help you if you can see bigger than just yourself. I have another author who, again, was on a really tight budget and was overwhelmed by the expenses of all the things that we're doing to build his book. And so he thought, you know what, I don't want to do any of it. I'm going to self-publish because it's so much better. But the lesson there is that I helped him tighten up the budget so it didn't feel like such a major expense. And then he was able to see that in fact, he could build a team a la carte so that it wasn't so it didn't feel so overwhelming with a budget that was very minimal. And it really changed his perspective. And he was able to make the book a huge success and make money from it. But I know what you're thinking because, you know, he doesn't, some people just don't want anyone to take anything from them. And they want to do it all themselves because they're worried that people are going to take stuff. So I hear it. I get it that you think self publishing will protect you because it's not as open and free to other people taking and violating that. But actually, it's the opposite. They can actually really take you for your money. I have people all the time emailing me saying they self published and they're getting emails like, again, scammers, whatever, saying, oh, I can sell your book for $10,000. And people, again, trying to save money are losing money because they're getting scammed. And part of the reasons why I think authors try to do this alone is because they're afraid to fail and afraid to fail in a big, vulnerable way. But again, if you really realize that the book is about the reader, not about the author, it will change their perspective of what scrutiny means because no one's scrutinizing themselves. They want to read to really benefit, and you are helping them benefit. They're benefiting from your reading. They're reading something that they're benefiting from. And I get it because it's genuinely bold and vulnerable and scary to share your message with the world. But when you let people into your life and make this independence more independent publishing, you don't lose ownership. You gain the reach. And you're never really alone anyway, because you never have been. So, really, I encourage you to understand that this process, you're not alone. This is not expensive. And there are ways to make the budget work for you, and there are ways to save. You can figure out, and we can figure out together what this looks like. And so to figure out how to trade services and prioritize what you want this book to actually be. The real question is not, can I afford this? Am I ready for this? The real question is, what will it not cost me to do it correctly? What impact will I miss? What special speaking stage could I be requested on? What clients will not be able to find me? Those are the questions and the numbers that really matter. And so if you don't think about the money, everything else will fall into place. And let me explain that when self publishing, you still have a team. So here's what the team actually looks like on a budget. First and foremost, you need a professional editor and a copy editor. And again, not a friend, someone who is professional, who knows what they're doing. You need a cover designer and someone who's going to put the product together in a book. You need someone who's going to help you with the interior. You also need a launch strategist and a book coach that will help you put it all together, a publicist, and someone who is going to help you, again, grow this. If you don't feel like you need all of that, totally fine. Work on the book and then find ways. Again, there's so many resources out there that can help you. Just make sure it's the right resource to work with your marketing budget. I think the one thing that really helps is to build your contacts and help you. Again, that's free. Look at your contacts, see who's going to help you grow this book into something really big and independent. Again, strength in numbers. An author who does this alone just might sell 1,000 copies. But can you imagine what you can do when you have a team around you? I want you to really think about what it means to self publish and the impact that you can make when you think about what you can do in a bigger way. If this resonates with you at all, I have a publishing team blueprint that I can send to you that can help you understand what the blueprint actually is to help you get your book to become a bestseller and to grow it in a way that doesn't feel like it's just self published. These are ways that you can help build your platform and grow what the book actually means for people, not just what's inside of your heart. So stop calling it self publishing, calling it independent. Not that you're an independent, not that you have independence, but it's independent publishing. Own what the book really is and own who you are as an author. That is what will help you win. I'll see you in the next video.